my best tip for closing sale. Here's what's crazy. I think the art of closing has completely gone away in new home sales. And the reason I say that is because for a number of years, how we closed was completely different. It was completely different. We were living in a environment where our buyers were 90%, 80%. When they came in, they were 80% sold. They were already 80% closed. They were getting support from closing before they even walked in. The media was saying it was a great time to buy a home. Their interest rates were pushing them to say it's a great time to buy a home. Everything was going in the way of it's a great time to buy a home. So the closing question you had to ask is, are you gonna do it now before the prices go up? Are you gonna do it now before you lose out on it? Or sometimes it wasn't even that question. It was just like, all right, tell me when you're ready to buy, because I had a line of people who were ready to buy before this. If now you have to have an art of closing again. You have to have a process in how you close, and a lot of that starts right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, what people don't understand is what I do in the first 5 minutes can help or hinder what I do at the end of that sale. The questions I ask in the beginning, the seeds I plant at the beginning. We have to get back to the art of closing. My biggest tip for closing is going to sound generic, but be closing all along. Be laying out the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel to the close the whole way along. So what does that mean? I think you can start right in the beginning and saying, hey, where are you in the buying process? You can ask an agenda question of like, hey, where are you in the buying process? And they say, oh, well, we're just looking, and say, okay, the reason I ask is because if we find a home for you today, if we find a home that works for you today that meets all of your needs, would you be willing to move forward today? That I'd ask right in. That's the first close right in the beginning. Now, some people say, well, Chad, that's way too presumptuous. Well, to me, it lets you know where the buyer is, and you've already soft closed them. You've already trial closed them right at the beginning. If they say, yeah, it changes your whole process. If they say no, we're not willing to buy today. Now you're able to, right at the beginning, find out what the objection, the roadblocks is. Okay, so what would stop you from buying today? Oh, well, we got to put our other house on the market. Well, we got to talk to get it pre-approved. Well, we got to... Okay, great. Well, now that becomes part of your process. So the biggest tip I think that you can have, besides a mindset of always be closing.
A, B, C. A, always, B, B, C, closing.
I know that's generic, but always be closing. Is start early and do it often. The closing shouldn't be this big crescendo, like, oh my God, it's the closing moment. It should be, I've closed all along the way with these little micro closes. I've already told them up front that I'm going to be closing. They're still with me. I'm going to close. It's just the next step in the sale.